So it's Kelly, and I'm over here at Patient PT today to do a live video for you guys that I've been meaning to do for a really long time. So if you are familiar with Bloomington Mask Drive, you already know that all of the organization and procedures and paperwork and web development and all that stuff has either fallen to me or NOLA, or we've needed to delegate it out to a volunteer this whole time. Bloomington Mask Drive definitely did not exist before COVID hit the US. We got started back on March 20th. And since then, we have distributed 25,000 masks to Bloomington and Monroe County. But one of the things that a lot of people have never understood about Bloomington Mask Drive is our sorting system and our quality check system. So this is a system that I designed. It's something that basically I came up with the first night that I went and picked up masks with NOLA at the public library parking lot all those many months ago. When I got home and saw that there were a lot of different kinds of masks with different features, and some of those features made a functional difference in how the mask would work, and I had to kind of figure out who would get the most protective and functional masks, because there were a lot of nursing homes and other healthcare providers that didn't really have access to much protective equipment at all at that time. And it took me 2 or 3 hours probably to go through that first batch of probably about 100, 150 masks that we received and figure out exactly how I was going to categorize all those masks. So then as Mask Drive went on, there was a lot of confusion that developed about the sorting and quality check system, because a lot of people thought that the different types of masks that I had assigned were actually quality ratings. Okay, so everybody was making the type A masks, and nobody really wanted to make the B masks, and nobody really knew what C masks were, and absolutely nobody was interested in D masks. So I just wanted to clear up how all of that works. So first up is the type A mask. So we have put out the most of type A masks, and this mask that I'm holding right here is just one from my personal collection. It's one of my personal favorites because I don't know how well you can see it on there, but it has bunnies on the print, and I'm a big fan of bunny rabbits. So anyway, this is a type A mask, and it is designated a type A not because it is exceptionally well made, though it is. It has nice even pleats, and it's got a nicely sewn in, super tightly sewn in nose bridge here that's built in. But the main reason that it's called a type A mask is because it has this non-woven lining. Okay, so type A masks have a lining that is made usually out of interfacing. We provide, along with our type A kits, various types of usually ultralight interfacing. Some of it is what's called fusible, some of it's not fusible, but we really try to stick with a super lightweight interfacing for our type A masks. And the reason for that is because interfacing is made using processes that don't actually weave the fabric. It's sort of a blown fabric, which means there are lots and lots of fibers that crisscross, so it is really good for filtering things like coronavirus. So that's the type A mask. It is the most protective cotton fabric mask that we offer at Bloomington Mask Drive, and this one is made with our standard pattern that minimizes fabric waste and is relatively easy to learn how to sew for folks, and minimizes the excess use of elastic and other things that sometimes become scarce. So that's a type A mask. And this one, if you want to get really technical about it, is a type A2 because it's got that built-in nose bridge, and we do have some masks that do not have a built-in nose bridge. This is actually another A2. I meant to grab an example of an A1, but I didn't. This is just another one of my favorite ones, and I love it because it has little moosies on it, and they are super cute. I don't know who made this mask. I don't know who made that bunny mask that I just showed a moment ago earlier, but those are a couple of my long-term favorites, and I love them because even though they are lined, they are still really nice and breathable, and I feel really protected, and they're also really cute, which matters. So then up next is the type B mask. So type B is B for breathable, okay? A actually stands for at risk. So folks that are at higher risk of exposure, like caregivers, people who are coming into close contact with people, people who actually think they may have been exposed to coronavirus, something like that. Those are for folks who want a little bit more protection. Type B is for folks who want a more breathable mask, okay? So the main thing about a type B mask is that it does not have that lining. So if you look inside, you can see it does have a pocket there so that you can add filtration to it. And that's another way that we sort of categorize things on the back end that doesn't matter so much to other people, but whether or not they have pockets and how the nose bridge works and stuff. This one happens to have a removable nose bridge. So you can just slide that out and put it in the wash, and the mask doesn't really take any damage due to there being a hard thing embedded inside while it's getting beaten up in a washing machine. So that is the type B mask, and this one just happens to have been made by my good friend Nola. She's really, I call her my bestie more often than anything else because she and I had to become fast friends in order to get Bloomington Mask Drive off the ground. So that is, again, our standard pattern, essentially, and the only difference between it and the Type A mask is that it is unlined. It does not have that non-woven interfacing lining, so it is a little easier to breathe in almost no matter what it's made of. This particular one is made out of a nice tight woven batik, so it's still fairly protective, but easier to breathe in. Okay, so thanks, Nola, for saving me that beautiful mask. Oh, and here's another one. Again, this one is high on the cute factor. It's another of those type B masks that has a removable nose bridge, and this one I absolutely love because I just got it out of the blue one day in the mask drive from one of my favorite sewists. He's one of our only people who sew masks, who happens to also be male. His name is Vincent. But he made this lovely mask out of spoonflower fabric. I think he maybe even designed that fabric himself, so maybe he loves bunnies as much as I do, but I love this one extra specially because it matches my stethoscope bag. So I wear this one pretty much at least once a week, no matter what. But that's another type B mask. Again, you can see when you look inside, this one is unlined, so nice and easy to breathe in. So that's type B. Type C, I'm actually not going to show you quite as closely. These are already bagged to go out to children, okay? So C stands for child. The child mask that I have here in this bag, the main difference that you can see and the main difference that they functionally have is that the child mask is considerably smaller than what we consider an adult mask, okay? You can see that the front of it is, there's about an inch of difference between the two sizes on those. And because this is an all-volunteer effort, sizes are usually not exact, but if we spot a mask that looks a little extra small, we always pull it out and throw it in the child pile. And we've started making mask kits specifically for child masks recently because demand has increased as more and more folks have jumped on that mask bandwagon that we've been on since the end of March. But we are going to be showing some folks how to make these masks later this month at some training sessions that we are having. Child masks are going to be Fun Mask Friday, the 31st of July. That is from 2 to 6 p.m. You can either sign up from 2 to 4 or 4 to 6 to sit with Nola and one of our other awesome volunteers named Janet, who's been helping us from the very beginning, and learn how to make this style of child mask, which is basically a smaller version of our other, and a couple of new styles that might be a little more practical for keeping it on a kid's face, because if you have kids, you may be aware that that can be one of the bigger challenges with kid masks. So, and I also just wanted to say these masks are packaged to go out into our self-serve mask stations. If you haven't heard about that already, visit bloomingtonmaskdrive.com and you will see that Patient PT is sponsoring the very first self-serve mask station in Bloomington from Bloomington Mask Drive. And there are A, B, and C type masks already stocked in it. We've had plenty of people stopping by to get masks. I've already had to refill it and straighten it up several times this week. And it's only been out since Monday, so that's great, considering that we do not spend any money on advertising here at Bloomington Mask Drive. Just as part of our overall effort to keep costs low and keep those masks going out the door. I think that that's pretty darn good. There are a couple more types of masks that don't really go out in the mask stations just by standard. The one that kind of had the worst reputation for a long time is a type D mask. And again, people had that confused with quality grades for quite a long time, A, B, C, D. D actually just means different, okay? So you probably noticed all of these masks sort of have something in common in that they're made in kind of a similar style with those pleats, and they're sort of rectangular. D-masks are ones that, for some reason, are functionally different from our existing patterns, okay? So here's an example of a D-mask that is yet another one of my favorites. So this mask is very different, you can see, from our main styles, all right? It's one of the type that has this peaked portion to fit over the top of your nose, and it's sort of more cone shaped in the front. A lot of people prefer this style because they find it a little bit more comfortable and that it stays on the nose a little bit better without need of having a wire up there. So if you don't have glasses, for example, and you're not worried about fogging all the time, a mask in this style might be more to your taste. We just don't get a ton of them at Bloomington Mask Drive because we do not supply kits that are made especially for them, but we do still accept this type of mask, every type of mask that comes in, as long as it can get put on somebody's face and provide some coverage for a cough. We are not going to turn it down at Bloomington Mask Drive. So don't worry that just because you don't make exactly the same type of mask that we make, that we aren't going to take it and give it a good home. Okay, we still will. This one, so I'm not as used to this type of mask because this isn't one of our standard types, but it's actually a really cool style. It just has one cord that connects front and back, and to put it on your face, all you have to do is pull it up from where it maybe has been hanging around your neck while you were outside or something like that, and you can pull it up and tighten the strap back here. So I didn't do that very gracefully. I am not always the most graceful person under pressure on a camera, but that's basically how that mask works. And as you can see, it still looks really nice. We still really like it. We just decided on this other pattern pretty early in the process because the rectangular shape allows us to minimize fabric waste. And it's a little bit easier to sew straight seams than it is to sew this curved seam. But once again, if you are making these really cool kind of masks or any other kind of mask that I haven't showed you today, don't worry about not being able to donate that to Bloomington Mask Drive. We do have a bin for mask donation already set up at the front of Enright East in the College Mall, and I also have a little mask donation bin attached to the mask station that is in the hallway just outside Patient PT up here at 2620 North Walnut Street. If you want to come up and get some masks from the mask station, awesome. If you want to start making some masks for us, we're going to start giving away materials on a regular schedule starting July 27th. That is a Monday. And starting next week, we actually have a bunch of training classes. There are still plenty of spots for you to learn how to make medical masks, which was another one I kind of meant to cover. So this is a type S mask. We haven't really made very many of these in the time since Bloomington Mask Drive has been in existence, but I will tell you that this is my personal favorite type of mask, and it's actually the type of mask that I keep here in my clinic. The reason that it's my favorite type of mask is because it is made from two-sided surgical drapes, so you can see that it has a front and a back that are very easy to distinguish from one another. It's also a really nice stiff fabric, so it actually comes out of the wash looking like this and with the pleats pretty much intact. It is not iron safe, so you actually can't iron these, unlike a lot of our other masks, but I really love these masks because it is consistently really easy to slide the nose bridge in and out, wash after wash. They still look good wash after wash. And this surgical drape, because it is usually used to wrap up surgical instruments after they've been sterilized for surgery, it actually is rated in this two-layer format that this particular mask is made as greater than N95 for filtration. So that doesn't mean that it is as good or better than a medical grade N95 like they would wear in an emergency room or a COVID ward. But it does mean that it's probably about as good as you can get with a fabric mask that you make on your sewing machine. So Medical Mask Monday next week, or I'm sorry, not next week, the 27th of this month, that's when we're going to start Medical Mask Monday. Wednesday, we are going to have Window Mask Wednesday. I don't have an example of that one here with me, but if you watched my last live with Nola, we did show an example of that one there. So the 29th is Window Mask Wednesday, and the 31st, again, is Fun Mask Friday, where we're going to be teaching y'all how to make some of those kid masks. So if you are interested in making some special masks for us, make sure that you sign up for our mailing list on bloomingtonmaskdrive.com, and we will get an email sent out to you with instructions on how to sign up for specific days and shifts. I guess that's my whole spiel. So those are the different types of masks. That's kind of what the difference is. They are not, in fact, quality grades, so don't be afraid to pick up that B mask or C mask or D mask. The D masks are actually marked miscellaneous because there was such a pervasive belief that they were low quality masks, and I just wanted to make sure that it is known. I absolutely love all the different types of masks that we have at Bloomington Mask Drive. It's kind of like pizza, you know, everybody makes it different, but it's all good, and we all need a mask to put on our faces. So watch for more updates from Bloomington Mask Drive with me, and hopefully more of them with NOLA, because I know that everybody loves NOLA more than they love me, and that's okay. I've just accepted it over time. But anyway, I will talk to you guys soon. I hope that you enjoyed this little tutorial on the different types of masks.